Just seeing them grow from the start, confidence growing and their techniques improving, we'd never ever take them somewhere else because he is just perfect.
I have 2 girls at AFAC and we've been coming since it started at the beginning of 2019. They feel safe and I think they feel encouraged as well.
I like my teachers and they always encourage me when I need encouraging and they make it really fun for me and the rest of my class. I feel very proud and happy and excited to meet my new teacher.
Noah finds motor planning and things like that difficult. He tends to get that same teacher, so they definitely know what works for Noah, what to kind of keep going with, how we can kind of achieve the next thing. So it's really quite consistent and valuable.
It's really good, nice quality time spent with the grandies, and it's a great centre for families as well. She may have got a lot older, but never miss out on the green jelly after the swimming lesson, so that's always a given.
I wouldn't be driving 25 minutes past 2 swim schools to come if I didn't enjoy it.
The kids just enjoy it too much here and love all the teachers, so why move them somewhere else?
Ruth Butterfield, thank you.
Welcome along, everyone. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we meet on the lands of the Whadjuk Noongar people, and I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. I'll declare the meeting open at 7:03 and welcome everyone along. I don't think we've got any members of the public, so we don't have any visitors tonight. A record of attendance, apologies and leave of absence. We have 2 previously granted leave of absences for Dr Wallinga and 1 for Councillor Hancock. And we do have Councillor Mosey is not here, so we'll add him as an apology for tonight. Thanks everyone else for being here. And we have a full complement of executive directors along tonight, so thank you also for being here. Advice of response to previous public questions taken on notice. We didn't have any, so there's nil. Public question time we don't need to do because we don't have any public tonight. Applications for leave of absence. I don't believe I've received any. Nope. Okay, move on. Petitions. Are there any petitions for presentation tonight? If not, we'll move on. Confirmation of minutes. Could I ask that somebody confirm that the minutes attached to this agenda represent a true and correct record of the last meeting? Councillor Sargison? Yes. Thank you. Is there anyone opposed? If no one's opposed, thank you, that's carried. We do have, next one is announcements by the person presiding without discussion. There should be some around here somewhere. I did just pop on there for noting the announcement was made on the weekend that the Armidale train line will be up and running on the 13th of October 2025. So finally we have a date, which is fantastic news. Our community will be overjoyed to hear. My kids in particular will be very happy to have the train back, as the bus service, whilst it runs, it's pretty slow and pretty bumpy. So really looking forward to having that train line reopened, and quite cheaply too. So $2.80, not a bad price to get into Perth. So our community will be overjoyed with that. Just also note that we turned the sod for the Morgan Park Pavilion rebuild on Friday, and had the Minister, Rita Saffioti, out, and of course Dr Tony Booty, MLA, as well. At that occasion, that marks a significant, I guess, start to a significant project worth $5.8 million, which will become a community hub in itself. That Morgan Park Pavilion is very old and very tired and very small. So the investment that the city is making of $5 million and the $800,000 odd dollars that the state is investing will be put to good use in that pavilion build. So we look forward to it coming out of the ground shortly. We'll move on to reports. We have Development Services report. Is the Deputy Chair prepared to move the minutes of the Development Services report?
Yes, could I please move the minutes of the Development Services Committee meeting held on the 21st of July, subject to any corrections, which I have none.
Thank you. Councillor Silva has moved receipt of those minutes. Do we have anyone opposed? No one's opposed. Thank you, that's carried. If we move into the item, the report itself, and we go 1.1, Rollystone Community Garden Security Update, with the report beginning on page 8 and the recommendation on page 11. Page 12, 1.2, Review of Delegations, Development Services Directorate. And we have the recommendation beginning on page 15 and going over to page 16. Chair, we do need an absolute majority. Deputy Chair, we do need an absolute majority, so I'll ask you if you are prepared to move that item.
So moved, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Deputy Chair has moved the item. Is there anyone opposed? No one opposed. Thank you. That's carried and an absolute majority has been reached. Is the Deputy Chair prepared to move the item which has not already been dealt with in that agenda?
So moved, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Deputy Chair has moved that item. Is there anyone opposed? No one opposed. Thank you. That's carried. And we will move through to the Corporate Services Committee meeting. Is the Deputy Chair prepared to move those minutes?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I would like to move the report of the Corporate Service Committee meeting held on 22nd of July 2025, subject to any correction. I don't have any. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will just note that on the front page of that, we need to put Deputy Chair instead of Chair against your name, but you can do that administratively. Thank you. Is there anyone opposed to receiving those minutes? No one? Thank you. That's carried. Going to the agenda items, and we have on page 22, 1.1, list of accounts paid for May 2025. The recommendation coming on page 24. Page 25, 1.2, statement of financial activity for May 2025. With the recommendation coming on page 30. Deputy Chair.
That. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Deputy Chair has moved that item. Is there anyone opposed? If no one's opposed, thank you. That's carried. And an absolute majority has been reached. 1.3, debt write-offs on page 31, with the recommendation coming on page 34. Deputy Chair, are you willing to move that item?
Yes, I'm moving, Madam. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone opposed? No one's opposed. Thank you. That's carried and an absolute majority has been reached. Page 35, 2.1, Strategic Community Plan, SCP Review Update. Councillor Peter, you would like to speak?
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move the recommendation with some amendment. So the officers can put the amendment on the screen. Basically, I would like to amend two things. One is the achieve the corporate target net zero by 2030. I just need to change plan to achieve. I know we adopt the policy to reach our our zero emission by 2030. I acknowledge that our decision, but I strongly believe we don't have enough plan to reach that net zero by 2030. And if you say achieve the corporate target by net zero by 2030, we imposing the officer to take an action without a proper plan. So I strongly encourage we need to have a plan how we can achieve it and how much it will cost to the city. And it is our ratepayers can afford that policy. That is the main thing. I just put a change in the word, plan to achieve. That is our aim, to achieve net zero by 2030, but we have to have a plan. That is the reason I am just changing one word. The second point, Madam Mayor, I just need to keep item 3.1.6 in the community strategy committee plan. If you're looking on the point, advocate for the investment in industrial prison and form a strategic partnership for the development. I acknowledge that is a specific project we planned last financial year, but I strongly believe that point need to be there. Then officers can prepare our corporate business plan based on that point, because the reason for I am strongly advocating for that point, Madam Mayor, if you're looking on the rate growth in the commercial spectrum for the last 5 years, we can see 25 to 30% growth in that area. So we focus on the industrial development, and I think we still need to focus and spend time and money in that area. Then we can ease the pressure on the residents, the normal residential repairs. That's the point I would like to keep that point, and I will to move the item with that to amendment. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Peter. Is there anyone opposed to this amendment? Well, I will oppose it. Do we have a seconder for this amendment? Councillor Silva has seconded. Thank you. Councillor Peter, you've spoken. Councillor Silva, would you like to speak? As the opposer, I'll speak then. Thank you for raising the matter. Councillor Peter, I would just note that in your first point of plan to achieve the corporate target of net zero by 2030, we do have the corporate greenhouse action plan, which we've adopted, which although it relies on us buying carbon credits and working our way through that process, it does have a plan. We do have a plan to reach the corporate net zero. So I don't really understand why you suggested that we don't have a plan to do that. We have an adopted plan already to reach that for the corporate greenhouse action plan, so named. So if you would like to change that, I believe that a report to council changing the budget associated with the corporate greenhouse action plan would need to be brought. Changing it here would actually impact that plan that we've already got in place. So I don't know what you would be achieving. And your second one, I think we had a meeting where we were looking at the strategic community plan, and this turned out to be a business as usual activity. So the number 3.1.6 was a business as usual activity for the officers, and we decided only to keep in there the ones that needed to be addressed outside of business as usual. So that one was trimmed back as well with the agreement of most of the councillors, well, all of the councillors who were present at the workshop. So I will support what was supported at the workshop. Do I have anyone to speak for the amendments? Anyone to speak against? Councillor Keogh.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I echo those sentiments mentioned by you earlier. Particularly, from my perspective, I read the first amendment as sort of, I guess, semantics in a way. With the action of achieving the corporate target, obviously with that, we're planning to achieve that. That's the whole reason why it's there. We're wanting to see that occur. So to change it to plan to achieve, I think is a bit of a misnomer. But that's my interpretation of it. To the second amendment, I agree with what the Mayor was saying there, that it is become business as usual for the city. I definitely, of course, am not against advocating for investment in any precinct or in any form whatsoever with our precincts. And I think it's great to see such growth in these areas over the last few years, particularly with the new industrial precincts of Armidale Road. And if I could just clarify also with the question, if I could perhaps ask through the chair to our acting CEO, I recall this being discussed at the Corporate Services Committee. I think that there was some discussion or some information given to us where that actually is part of our existing policies and plans. Is that right? If I could ask that question to have that answered, thanks.
Chair, that's correct. The corporate business plan actually enunciated what the specific BAU, if you like, action was, and in that particular regard, it was finalising the, I think it was the structure plan. The Director of Development Services can correct me if I'm wrong, but on the industrial development there in Forestdale, I think.
Thanks. It's the Debati industrial area. Stage 1 has been approved, and Stage 2 structure plan is currently with the City for consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you for those answers. Is there anyone to speak for the motion? Anyone to speak against? Councillor Busby.
As I often do at a council meeting when we're moving a motion for items that I'm not been aware of being brought up anywhere else before. So generally when we have our strategic community plan workshops and our discussions and plenty of emails go out, normally these sorts of things come up and we're actually prepared for it. We've discussed it before, so for something to be brought up at a council meeting without any really discussion apart from what's happening now, when it hasn't been brought up, when we've actually pulled the whole plan apart thoroughly, I tend not to support that at a council meeting. I would have considered it if it was aware of it elsewhere, so that's why I don't support it tonight.
Thank you, Councillor Busby. Is there anyone to speak for the amendment? Anyone against? Councillor Peter, would you like to wrap up?
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I well aware of the corporate greenhouse plan, but here the point is we plan to achieve the corporate target by the cities, the total cities, the carbon emission, net carbon emission by 0 by 2030. So our corporate greenhouse plan is not able to achieve the 0 because that is the only corporate greenhouse plan, and we have a lot of other issues we need to address. How are we going to change our fleet system? So we have a discussion last year. We are not planned properly how we do, and especially for the fleet system, they say it is the initial stage. We need to spend time to how much is the cost for city to change the only for the fleet system to the zero carbon. So that's one part. So we have a lot of area we need to address to make sure the city achieve as a city wall, not only a specific area, to reach the zero carbon emission by 2030. So the greenhouse is not addressing the total city. So my intention is to plan for a carbon emission, zero net carbon emission by 2030. And also, Madam Chair, if you're looking on any level of government, nobody is in the process of achieving 2030. Federal government or state government, they 2040, 45, 40, 50, they plan to bring it down, but no one is agree that. So this is an imaginary point. We're saying that, we're going to, it's a good, if we can reach the zero emission by tomorrow, I am happy. But the point is, can we do it or not? That's the point. We're taking a sensible decision and based on our capacity and how much pressure we can give to the residents. So that is an important point. Can we achieve or not? That's the plan. That is the only reason I am suggesting to make a plan to reach by 2030. That's the first point. The second point is, Madam Chair, I understand that point 3.1.6 is specifically for the new suburb we develop. But everything is a business as usual, Madam Mayor. So if we need to achieve something, we need to specifically put in a document. That's why we have strategy community plan, corporate business plan, year budget. So it is not, if we have anything as usual, then we no need to have such a documents. So we putting in the corporate community plan to achieve this target. If you're looking, as I mentioned before, if you're looking on the numbers, we can see how we grow in our industrial area. So I strongly believe that point need to be in that our our corporate business plan and community plan to reduce the rate burden from the residents. Especially I'm coming from the development area. I know how the people is suffering from the high rates they pay now. So we're trying to, everybody, all the council is trying to reduce that residential rate by helping or improving our industrial growth. And we can see there's a drastic growth in that area. So we need to continue that momentum. So we have to something specifically, I'm not document, to tell the officers, oh, we need to spend more time on more money in that commercial development. That's why I need to have that point in our strategic community plan, Madam Chair. And I request all the councillors to support my amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Peter. I will put Councillor Peter's amendment to the meeting. Sorry, Councillor Peter's motion. All those in favour? All those against? Thank you. The motion has lost. Could I have someone, no, sorry, so I'll go back to the original recommendation. Councillor Sargison, you moved that originally. Would you like to move it now?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Councillor Sargison has moved the original recommendation or the officer's recommendation as printed in your agendas. Is there anyone opposed? No one opposed. Thank you. That's carried. Move to page 39. 3.1, revoke policy ADM 3, conferences, seminars and training. The recommendation comes on page 41. Page 42, 3.2, DLG SC, consultation paper, mandatory communications agreements. With the recommendation coming on page 48. Page 49, 4.1, Economic Development Conference 2025. Councillor Peter.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to add one more councillor name on the nominate. Councillor Silver also in that list. Thank you.
Councillor Silver, did you agree to that nomination? Thank you very much. Councillor Peter has moved a changed recommendation. Do we have anyone opposed? If no one's opposed, thank you. That's carried with Councillor Silver's name attached. Page 52, 4.2, consultation and contractor cost referral item, with the recommendation on page 53. Page 54. 4.3, Mayor's announcements, referral item, with the recommendation on page, Councillor Sargison.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually missed speaking on the consultancy one. Should I refer it back to the next one?
Look, I haven't moved on to the vote for the next one, so if you'd like to change the recommendation.
Well, actually, I would actually. Excuse the voice, please. I still get a bit raspy. It might be able to be done administratively. What I actually wrote down here was consultants and contractors are essential expenses for local government, but current reporting methods make it difficult to track and analyse trends monthly, leading to a suggestion for separate, clearer expense pages to facilitate easier monitoring and understanding of cost changes. Meaning, basically, we want the contractor and the I can't think of the word. The contractor and the consultants, the contractors are down separately, so we can actually see them on a month-to-month basis to see how it's trending. It's very difficult to actually go through the list in very small print and isolate them, highlight them, then see how it's going over the last 2 months. It's much easier if it was done beforehand so we can actually see it and see how it's trending. Because the contractors and the consultants' fees are really quite high, although they have been going down these last 3 months.
Thank you, Councillor Sargison. I'm not sure that I heard a changed recommendation there, so I'm not quite sure what to do with that one.
Yeah, okay. The consultants and contractors to be put on a separate paper to clarify expense pages to facilitate easier monitoring and understanding of cost changes.
Okay.
Just to keep it separate, basically.
Just going to ask the Executive Director of Corporate whether that is indeed possible. I believe that there was a fair amount of discussion on the night regarding this matter, and
there was, but unfortunately I didn't really ask for all that. All I asked for was the list of the contractors and the contractor and the consultants, so we can actually see how much is going out quickly without having to go through each and every 20 odd pages, or it used to be between 20 and 26 pages, and you have to isolate them, and it takes a long time to go through them.
Okay, I might just ask the Executive Director whether this is indeed possible.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillors, from an accounting point of view, we can provide councillors with information that is booked to a materials and contracts, what we call nature and type account, and pull out contracts and consultants. The difficulty is in the detail that sits behind that, because with some contractor type of costs, they may be related to either filling a vacant position, or for a short-term project, or actually providing a service. And even when we get the invoices and pay the contractor, that can often entail a materials component to it. So I understand what Councillor Sargison is trying to want to examine, but I think the list of either payments to suppliers, which is what we would have to denote which suppliers are under contract and give you that, or indeed use the accounting methodology where we look at the nature and type description, won't really give you a feel on the trends or otherwise. The nature of both the city and local government is it does ebb and flow throughout the year, and depending on what projects we have on foot. We provided advice at the time when the committee were considering this, that for council to get a really good understanding, we really need to focus in on a particular service you might be interested in, and find out how that's provided, the extent of contracts, consultants, what the trends are around there, and then we can get a good handle on how are we spending ratepayer fund at the end of the day, and whether there's a question to be answered around insourcing, outsourcing. So that was the extent of the committee deliberation on that. So sorry, that's a bit long-winded, but...
Okay, thank you very much for those extra surrounding notes. Would you like us to put, have you given the wording to the minutes secretary? So we can see it on the...
I haven't given the exact wording to her, but if I can just reply to...
No,
okay.
I'm sorry. Oh, we'll just, if we can get the wording on the screen,
okay,
and then we can deal with it, if you like.
Okay. Contracting consultants costing to be separated.
If we can just...
separate page.
We just give it to...
Excuse me for the moment.
Can I ask a question, Madam Mayor?
Certainly.
Are we talking about this being added to the list of accounts paid each month? Is that what you're asking?
Just yes.
So,
Developing one there from Councillor Sargison and then one from the Executive Director's understanding of the request. So Councillor Sargison, was it the second one that you were after? The second one? Okay. If we get rid of that first one, thank you very much. And so, councillors, you have there in front of you a changed recommendation. The recommendation made on the night was that the council note the officer comment. Councillor Sargison would like to change that to the one that's on the screen there. He has given some background to that. Is there anyone opposed? Councillor?
Sorry, just a question, if I may.
Yep.
Just to clarify, just so we're all on the same page, so is this going to be understood to be then part of the monthly Corporate Services Committee, or is this separate that we'll get, an email administratively, or how is this going to play out in that sense?
We don't know at this stage. It doesn't specify. Sorry, so is there anyone opposed? Councillor Busby, do I have a seconder for this motion? Sorry, Councillor Keogh, you're seconding?
Yes, thanks for the purpose of debate. Thanks.
Right. Okay. Would you like to speak then?
No, thank you.
Did we have Councillor Busby? Would you like to speak?
yeah, look, I think I understand where Councillor Sargison was going with this, but I don't think that recommendation is going to get close to what he's trying to achieve. The issue that we face is many of the contractors that are on our list are for projects. And when I look at what you were trying to achieve is the need for cost saving through in-house work rather than outsourcing to consultants. And I think this would have been probably a better place to have at budget time when we're going through the different departments. So, like where development and tech services use a combination of contractors for projects that we've actually gone out, we've gone and tendered for, we've got consultants on there that we're paying, we've got contractors that we're paying. That's all a part of projects, and that's going to be in the list. And we're now sort of trying to separate, okay, how do we separate that contractor who's doing some work there, but materials that we're providing and maybe other things we're providing. And I don't think that's going to answer what Councillor Sargison's trying to actually get to. Because we're now going to have to go through that list on a separate page and then possibly ask the question, is that a contractor who's doing a project? Is that a contractor who's working on Morgan Park or Gwyn Park or Forestdale or whatever? Or is it a contractor that's mowing lawns that we want to question about why are they mowing lawns? Well, we've already got that, Councillor Sargison, with Tech Services, where we're actually doing that process. We started that with Mike Andrews, go through, trying to get some of that stuff in-house, and we had a long discussion about that at Tech Services, and we are looking to do that. So the reason I don't support that is because I don't think this is going to help you achieve what your initial desire is to do, and I think there's probably a better way to do it, and more than happy to work with you to work out what that is through the different departments. But this wouldn't help. I believe this would just be a burden on probably Jason and Michael and his team to now work out how they're going to break that up for us, and we're still not going to be able to have a look and pull it apart. So that's my reason for opposing it.
Thank you, Councillor Busby. Anyone to speak for the recommendation? Anyone to speak against? I might just make a couple of comments and just say that I think that what I would like to see out of some extra information being brought to us is ways of actually finding efficiencies within the organisation. And I believe that the officers are on board with that and are pulling together a report and a study on, like you say, Councillor Busby, through tech services and even our waste department. So there's certain areas where we could see that we're outsourcing a lot, and perhaps those services could be brought back in-house, so that we're not using contractors or consultants. So I'm unsure that this recommendation would not burden the organisation to an extent where it's not worthwhile. So I would suggest that the list of the list of accounts paid be the method by which we, as councillors, can see where the city is spending money, or to which individuals, and on what. If there are areas where particular services can be brought in-house, I think that the officers at the moment are looking into several of those opportunities. So I'm not really in support of this particular recommendation, because I'm not sure that it will bring the outcome that we really want. So I'm not supportive of the recommendation as it stands at this stage. But I'm happy to hand back to you, Councillor Sargison. Sorry, Councillor Peter?
Yeah, can I ask one question?
Yep,
Mayor?
sure.
The recommendation on the table saying that separate the list of payment to contract and consult to be provided in accounts on a monthly basis. So my understanding, we getting the invoice or the invoice payment in monthly. So is any difficulty we can separate the invoice payment? Is any difficulty to make a separating the invoice to the contractor and consultant? Is any difficulty? I'm talking about only the recommendation on the table, because we're getting all the invoice payment every month, how much you pay for the contractor or anyone. So is any difficulty to separate?
Mayor, councillors, it's probably the point I made before. So with a list of accounts for payment, we'll have to go through and categorise them as contractor, consultant or otherwise. But even when we categorise as a contractor, that is a payment of what can be multiple invoices, and those invoices can have a component of labour and materials, etc., or even just materials, for instance. So it really depends on the type of question we're trying to answer.
Thank you. With that question answered, Councillor Sargison, would you like to wrap up?
Thank you, Mayor. What I initially asked for was the extrapolation of the figures from onto one page and another page, contractor and consultant, straight from what's already on the agenda that was already on there, without having to go into all the ins and outs of just getting all that little bit of information. I wanted to see the overall picture, what you're actually showing in the agenda. Take it all out, put it on a page so we can see on a monthly basis how it goes up and how it goes down, how much we're spending, how much we're saving on the following month, or spending more. I didn't need to know all the ins and outs of every single invoice that's being paid or being submitted. I just needed to know the cost of the consultants on the overall and the contractor, not 1,001 bits of work associated with it. The existing information that you're showing in the agenda, on the corporate agenda, which is highlighted over the 24 pages, and it just takes a long time to extrapolate it out. You have to highlight it and write it down and add them up and see how you went against the last month. There's always a big difference, except for the last 3 months it's been going down a little bit. But before that, you're talking tens upon many tens of millions of dollars over the year. So I'd like to see how we can control it. And if we can see the figure in one hit, that's great. If we can't, well, perhaps we should be working harder. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sargison. I will put Councillor Sargison's changed recommendation to the vote. All those in favour? All those opposed? Thank you. The motion is lost. And could I have someone move the original motion? Thank you, Councillor Peter. Is there anyone opposed? No one opposed. Thank you. That's carried. Councillor Sargison, could you pop your mic off, please? Thank you. Okay, we'll move forward now to page 54, 4.3, Mayor's Announcements, Referral Matter, with the recommendation on page 55. Page 56, 4.4, Information Communication Technology, ICT Strategic Plan Update, with the confidential item. If anyone would like to refer to the confidential attachment which contains this report, we can leave the item until the confidential items part. Does anyone need to refer to the confidential attachment? If not, we'll move forward. Okay, that was the last item. So could I ask the Deputy Chair to move all those items which have not already been dealt with?
Yes, Madam, I move. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Peter. Is anyone opposed? If no one's opposed, thank you, that's carried. Thank you. That takes us through to the Chief Executive Officer's report of the 28th of July 2025. Could I ask that someone move receipt of that report, please? Councillor Peter, thank you. Councillor Peter has moved receipt of that report. Is there anyone opposed? No one's opposed. Thank you. That's carried. That brings us to page 61, 1.1, Annual Budget, Financial Year 2025 to 2026. And this is a culmination of many hours of workshops, many hours of conversations and work by officers and councillors. And so I look forward to it passing tonight. So if we page through the agenda, and we have the recommendations beginning on page 71. I will be breaking the recommendation up because we have got we have had some flags raised about changing certain bits. So I will break it up into, at the moment, unless I hear otherwise, we're going to deal with number 1, 2, 3 individually, and then deal with 4 to 7 all together, and then item 8 will come out and be dealt with separately because there's one small change there. And then 9 to 15, fees, charges and allowances, will go together. Then the adoption of the budget I'll bring out separately. And then the last one, 17, authorising expenditure in advance for carry forwards. That will be done separately as well. So if we could begin then.
Well, if it helps, Madam Mayor, I'm happy to move all of them as we get to them, and then people can speak into them. So save having to move each one as it gets there. I'm happy to move all of them.
Okay, fair enough. What we might do then is, if you've moved all of them, I'll go through and now ask if anyone is opposed to. So we'll deal with number 1 first. So there is one small change that needs to occur in the booklet. I haven't got mine with me, where some wording surrounding the Urban Forest Strategy Reserve account, the purpose needs changing. At the moment, it actually repeats what the reserve for Wirrawilla actually is for. So that needs changing. that can be done administratively, can't it? Laura?
Yes, ma'am.
So Councillor Busby has moved that first item. Is anyone opposed? If not, thank you, that's carried. Right, point number 2. We have noting the Minister's approval. We do need to add the 24th of July in there. So that's a slight amendment. Are you happy with that slight amendment, Councillor Busby? So you're still happy to move. Executive Director, would you like to say a few words about the process for this part?
Thank you, Mayor. It all commenced, if councillors recall, back in April, and we convened a workshop with the councillors on the rating strategy. We put a statement of rating objects and reasons out to the community for public consultation. We did that for 21 days. And received around 120 submissions, which were then subsequently considered by the council. We then got advice from the department that it needed to be 21 clear days, and we didn't have the clear days because we included the day we actually advertised. So we actually re-advertised for a further 21 clear days. And the council recently considered the additional 20 submissions that we had. And so this particular item of the budget, we could not seek the Minister's approval until we'd actually finished that somewhat long-winded process. But thankfully, we'd worked closely with the department, and that was turned around within 2 weeks. And we received the approval on Friday, the 24th of July.
Madam, I have a question.
Certainly.
Actually, on page 62, we have received 122 submissions on first advertisement and 23 submissions on second advertisement. So we have 145 total submission. Is it? Is that correct? Because on the report is saying 100. It's a typo error. It's okay.
Thank you. I'll just ignore all of that. So Councillor Busby has moved this item with that slight amendment of putting the date in there. Is anyone opposed? No one opposed. Thank you. That's carried. The third item there is pursuant to sections blah, 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 blah. So the gross rental values, etc. Councillor Busby has moved that item. Is there anyone opposed? No one's opposed. Thank you. That's carried. And an absolute majority has been reached.
Yep.
Now we've got 4, unless anyone wants to bring out certain ones out of 4 to, what did I say before, 7? So we're doing 4 to 7 now. Unless there's anyone who wants to bring out any items out of those ones, we'll take those on block. Is there anyone opposed to 4 to 7? Nope.
The same, Madam Mayor. Doesn't 8 go with that?
No, 8 was one that I pulled out because we need to make a note in the budget. So I'll explain that one in a tick. So is there anyone opposed to accepting 4 to 7? No one opposed. Thank you. That's carried. And do we need an absolute majority? We did, and we have reached it because no one was opposed. Now, number 8, we've got the office, that we offer a smarter way to pay. Now, I picked up that that was not in our budget document, so we're just going to note that we're going to pop it into the budget document itself. So it's not really a change to the recommendation, but it's just we're going to pop it into that document so that it's there for residents to see that we do actually offer that as a rate, as a way to pay rates. And that will be a notation in 2B of the budget. Is there anyone opposed? No one opposed? Thank you, that's carried. Now we're going to do number 9. And where are we?
We're proposing 9 to 15.
Do we need an absolute majority? Not required for that one. Okay, so 9 to 15. Has anyone got any to pull out of there? Councillor Peter?
Yeah, Madam Chair, just need to get a clarity. So we're going to get a report about the item 14 regarding the payment for the councillors. We're going to get a report next Corporate Service Committee, is it?
Yes, that's correct. In fact, we're aiming for August, Councillor Peter.
Okay, thank you.
With that question asked, is there anyone else have got any questions about any questions or anything to change from 9 to 15? If no one's opposed, thank you, that's carried. And an absolute majority has been achieved. That brings us to 16. Councillor Peter?
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to move a small amendment to the item 16 and 17.
Okay. Now, just before we do, we get onto this one, I will ask if anyone has any declarations of interest for any items in the budget. If so, you need to make those declarations now. And if not, now I'll hand back to you, Councillor Peter, for any change that's... We're just dealing with 16 at the moment?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Madam, I'd like to move an amendment that will... can you put on the display screen, if you don't mind? Yeah. Basically, Madam Mayor, we discussed about the security incentive scheme for a long time. And I would like to increase the budget from 25,000 to 180. The reason, Madam Mayor, if you're looking on the last year, once we declare the incentive, that 25,000 is vanished within 3 months of time. And a lot of residents is asking the questions, so why we are not able to get that incentive. So compared to the other similar local government, the incentive scheme, I believe 25,000 is very less. So that is why I suggesting to increase to $180,000. Maybe you have a question why you putting $180,000. It is not a random number because you have nearly 40,000 of residents, and each resident is eligible for once in a 5 year. So I believe it is we paying $200 per residence. That is my understanding. So I just work out the numbers. Then it's okay, 180,000 may be a good number to cover at least 50% of the residents. So that is why I'm moving that amendment to increase the budget. And I believe it's not only a matter of 180,000. Safety is one of the biggest challenge everywhere, and especially in our city. So I think it's a good decision if we can increase that budget to from 25 to...
Sorry, Councillor, I'll just stop you there. So you're wishing to make a change, but you're actually speaking to it as well. So I might just kind of stop you because Councillor Busby has moved all of the items. Right. You're requesting a change, but so you're...
Moving an amendment to that item.
You're moving an amendment.
Yeah.
So we've already got a motion on the table, which is the adopt the budget as is.
Yeah.
So how are we dealing with it?
Anyone opposed? Yes.
Yeah, of course.
But we need a seconder.
Yeah.
So just before you continue, can I ask if there's a seconder?
No. Excuse me. Sorry, madam. as a mover oppose, and I need to explain why I am opposing the motion, then only we can get a seconder, because otherwise councillors don't know why I am opposing this motion. So
we need a seconder for the mover, which is Councillor Busby.
Oh,
so
sorry, madam.
I do actually know what I'm doing. Thank you. Would anyone like to second the motion that we that we adopt the budget? Thank you, Councillor Hetherington. Now, because you're opposed, that's why I had to ask for someone to second. So what I will do is that you've already partially gone through the reasons why, but I think you're going to have to repeat them because now that we've got someone opposed, I need to ask Councillor Busby if he would like to speak first, and then Councillor Hetherington, and then you can go again if you like. Councillor Busby, would you like to
I'm actually going to speak for the budget and against the change of an amendment while I'm speaking for the budget. But we've got to this place, as you mentioned earlier on, through many workshops, many discussions. We've actually been through the budget, and so we've got to this point where we either accept it or we don't. And by now, I would have hoped that all of us who want to do things, make changes, would have done that. We would have debated them, and we would have got there. So, and I believe we have, and that's why I'm really happy to move the budget as it is right now, without any changes, and hopefully we all adopt it, because we've worked pretty hard to get. We're a bit later than we hoped because of our slight delay in getting signed off. We were going to sign off this before, so to start making changes now, it's just not the process. So, Madam Mayor, I'm happy to move this item and adopt the budget.
Thank you, Councillor Busby. Councillor Hetherington, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Mayor. Just to reiterate exactly that we've had many discussions about this. We're at a point now where we've had workshops, we've had conversations, we've had opportunities to talk to each other at any time, and I think prior to this point we should have already had this conversation, and I think we're at that line in the sand time where we approve what we have already discussed and what we have already, I guess, prior to now agreed to our budget. So I think it's time to tick it off. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hetherington. Councillor Peter, would you like to speak for your amendment if
Madam
the
Chair,
original doesn't get up?
Thank you. Madam Mayor, my understanding, as per the Local Government Act, when you come into the council meeting, you have to be free mind. All the discussion need to be happening in this table. You have to take the decision based on the discussion. That is the Local Government Act telling us. So whatever we discuss, that is we discuss. That's if you're coming with the pre-decision, actually you're violating Local Government Act. Okay, that's the first point I need to mention. The second point, Madam Chair, I think I already explained. So I think I start from the halfway. So I think this is not only, compared to our $147 million budget, $180,000 is not a big money to help our residents to get some safety equipment. And it doesn't matter how long we discuss, how many years we discuss, but safety is the biggest challenge in the community. And I believe $180,000, that is 0.2% of the rate income of an year. That is a good money we need to provide the residents to improve their safety. And that is the reason I'm moving this amendment. And I believe all the people, the councillors sitting here to support my amendment. Thank you, Madam Chair. If I need to speak, I will talk to you later. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Peter. We have Councillor Peter's item on the screen there for everyone to see. Is there anyone to speak against Councillor Peter's proposed change?
explain that to the council?
Yes, yeah, if you could. Sorry, I thought we were having a disagreement here about, I thought that you had moved an amendment, that was what you were after doing, but the Executive Director was going to ask now that you have done that we get a seconder to check, to see if we get good, if anyone seconds the amendment.
Thanks, Councillor. So I'll just clarify to be clear. We've had the substantive motion originally moved by Councillor Busby and seconded by Councillor Hetherington, which put effectively the officer recommendation on the table, and Councillor Peter indicate opposition to that and speak to a proposed amendment to the substantive motion that's on the table. So we're speaking to an amendment to the motion. So he's in opposition, speaking to an amendment to the substantive motion. I think, and Mayor, you may want to ask Councillor Peter to move that amendment again and then call for a seconder to that amendment, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah, so, okay, so I'll ask that you are now moving an amendment, not to adopt the budget, but an amendment to that. Are you moving that? What you've got on the screen there is what you were...
I move the motion, adopt the annual budget subject to the correction, subject to the amendment.
Change, yep.
Adopt the annual budget subject to the change.
However, we've already got someone, two people moved the budget, so you want to amend the budget by making that change?
Then I think the only option I have is to move an amendment.
Yes.
So that's already moved.
Yes, so that's what we're saying. If on the screen there, so you're moving an amendment, which is just the part where you're increasing the security incentive.
So I have another question, technical question, because Councillor Busby already moved and no one is opposed, that means it's automatically, the motion is carried. Is that correct?
No, because we...
I don't know, in the initial stage.
No, because you opposed, you flagged that you had a different option.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. So I would like to move an amendment to the item 16, that is display on the increase the security incentive scheme budget by 155,000 from 25 to 180,000. That is my amendment. And the 7.17 will be the resulting budget deficiency, because our current budget is zero, so it will be $155,000 deficit that to be considered in the 26 mid-year budget review. That's the point I need to move. Thank you, Madam Chair. I move.
Mayor, could I just check if that's 17, would that renumber all the other ones, like one further down the line?
Just point 17, as it is now in the report, would become 18.
Councillors, so we have an amendment to the original recommendation on the table. The point 17 explains where the money would come from. So I'll ask if anyone would like to second Councillor Peters' motion. Councillor Camdar? Thank you. Do we have anyone opposed? Councillor Keogh. Councillor Camdar, would you like to speak for the amendment?
Thank you.
Councillor Keogh, would you like to speak against the amendment?
Sorry, excuse me. No, not really. I think we've covered up most of the reasons why, which has been previously mentioned by the councillors. So I'm happy to just leave it as is. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone for the amendment? Anyone against the amendment? Before we wrap up, I'm just going to mention here that we have this discussion every year, but I don't feel that this is the right place to have this discussion. We can have it now, and I'm happy to have it now, but it's, you know. And I do note that upon last year's loss of this item, Councillor Peter, you did actually note that you were going to do a councillor's referral item matter, and it's been sitting outstanding since August last year. And I think that if we wanted to change the security incentive scheme so much, it probably needs a report, and that would be the right way to work on changing the budget and also perhaps targeting the incentive scheme better. So I would suggest that you continue with the councillor item and request a report on the matter. And with that, I would hope that the budget goes through as unamended. Okay, with that, we now will vote on the...
Chair,
sorry. Oh, you get to wrap up on your amendment.
Yeah, and okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah. Okay, Madam Chair, I just need a clarification. In my memory, I provide the information for the incentive scheme, and the decision was to consider that during the 2025-26 budget discussion. That's my memory. Anyway, I will. I don't have it. I will check it.
I'm just going on what's in the
list.
information bulletin.
Okay. Okay. Then I think this is the best time to discuss that time, Madam Chair. To increase. I think the Councillor Keogh opposed, and there is no argument why we are opposing this motion, because I think it is very important for the residents, especially concerning the safety. And 180,000 is not a big budget, and we have a surplus, nearly $860,000 surplus we have, and we are trying to protect, give some incentive to the people who are vulnerable in our community, and we are not happy to adopt 180,000. Councillor Keogh, I think anyway, each people have their own, each councillors have their own view, but I strongly believe the residents required 180, needs have some safety equipment, and I request all the councillors to support my motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Peter. We are now voting on Councillor Peter's change to the budget. So those two items that are highlighted in yellow. All those in favour? All those against? Thank you. The motion, the amendment has failed. I will put the original motion, the substantive motion, back on the table. Councillor Busby has moved that. Councillor Hetherington has seconded. Do we have anyone opposed? Councillor Peter, do we want to go through the whole speaking thing again? Councillor Busby, would you like to speak for?
I do. Again, it gives me an opportunity, because I didn't get up and speak against some of the comments that were just made about us not wanting to do security. I just want to reiterate that we're supporting a budget that we've worked on for months and months and months, and that this is not the place to be changing budgets. Councillor Peter believes it is, but I don't believe it is. We've had opportunity to do that. Every councillor around this table, I know, because we've all been together on it, have things we'd like to add to the budget. I can't speak for councillors, but there'd be stuff we'd like to do with the homeless, whether it was blocks of land or property. We'd love to go out and do that. There's more footpaths. Every councillor here has somebody who's probably emailed them for another footpath. If we're talking about security, Madam Mayor, we could be putting more cameras up in those areas that are really dangerous, that we could protect a group of people that, you know, we're having trouble with. So, you know, when it comes to security, protecting our community, just because we're not supporting changing things, doesn't mean we're against it at all. This budget has been very focused, and when we go through our budget deliberations, we take everything like this seriously when we do it. It's to bring it up and try and change $147 million by 27,000 or 127,000 or $80,000 on the night without exactly knowing where it's coming from and not having opportunity for other things. I don't think it's really the right place to do it, but we get the opportunity to do it and discuss it. So, Madam Mayor, I'd like to move the budget, and hopefully everyone supports it and we adopt it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Busby. Councillor Hetherington, you seconded. Would you like to speak again? No, thank you. Councillor Peter, you opposed. Would you like to speak?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I understand, and we spent a lot of time to discuss this budget last 3-4 months. That doesn't mean we need to adopt the budget as it is. During the budget discussion, I clearly specify, each councillor specify what their intention is, and the budget is prepared based on the majority's intention. And I believe this is the chance we can represent what the residents want me to represent here. That is why I am making amendment and changes. And if you are looking on this budget, Madam Chair, the previous amendment we discussed throughout the budget, the intention, we always have an intention to the City of Armidale. If you're looking on the City of Armidale compared to the Perth Metro, the rate revenue, the rate increase in the residential people is too high compared to the other councils. So we're trying to reduce for the long time. I always stand for the rate increase by CPI, but we always adopting is the LGCI. And if you're looking on the rate increase compared to the last previous years, the city increased 3.6, but the state government increased 5% for the emergency levy. So the huge increase for the residents, because the residents receiving the total, the rate, they're not looking on the how much is the emergency levy, how much is the council rate. So the state government is last year they increased 5%, this year also they increased 5%, and cities increased 3.6. The total rate burden on the people is too high. And we have a discussion, and we have 145 submissions. We will still keep doing that. But I strongly believe the people, especially in the new area, the new families, young families, not only new area, young families, they are really struggling to survive. It's not only the council rate, it's total the cost of the living. They really struggling. So from anywhere, if the water bill state government increased by 2.5%, there's a huge escalation. The material cost is everything going on. Their groceries going up 50%. So, but their income, their money, their wages is maybe go up by 4%. So the question, how they going to survive? As a local government, so we try to support our residents. So in many ways we can support. We can give some incentive to protect their property. That's why we try to make an amendment to increase the budget, but the council don't want to do that. But we are very happy to increase, as a business point of view, increase in the council rate is 3.6 or 5%. Is agreed. But if you're looking on, we're standing on the resident side, and we're thinking about their side, I think it's 3.56. This is a high rate. And we're expecting the CPI is going to by 2.5%. That is the RBI target. But still we increasing 3.5%. And I think this rate increase is not affordable to the people in the City of Armidale. They are doing 2 jobs, 3 jobs to cover their living cost. And we still imposing. And Madam Chair, if you're looking on the budget, we collected, we have nearly 1 million surplus from the growth area, and we allocated for the urban forest strategy for the last 2 years. Then we're going to use that money for other city center. And I believe we marginally ignoring the new development area, especially Madam Mayor, you well aware of the library in Hilbert and Haynes. I believe we push out from the current corporate business plan. And the people living in that area, they paying, not they all the people pay higher rates, and they are not getting any facilities. And we use that money to facilitate, we collect the money from there and we do facility from some other places. I think we are not doing good for those people. I think this budget, especially rate and rate increase, and also, Madam Chair, we are not providing, we are providing, I am not saying we are not providing, compared to the other local government, especially safety and security, we are not up to the date. So that is the reason I am totally against this budget. We need to look on the improvement, and we need to improve the efficiencies, and we need to try to provide more better services with better relief for our residents. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Peter. Can I have someone, would anyone like to speak in support of the budget? Anyone speak against? If not, I will just make a couple of comments. Councillor Peter, you've made an impassioned statements about the budget and about the city's intentions. I believe that we can all take away from tonight, and well, in everything that we do, that the city tries to provide the same services and the same level of service for all residents and all suburbs across the city of Armidale. As suburbs grow, they will inherit and we will develop services for those areas. We can't obviously provide large infrastructure overnight, and it has to be planned for, it has to be paid for, etc. So I think that that as much as possible, the entire council works on the basis of providing equal services and access to facilities, services, infrastructure for all of our residents, so that it's even, apart from the areas that have special area rates, which get a little bit of extra tender loving care, if you like, but that is paid for by those residents. So I would commend tonight's budget to council, believing that the interests of every one of our ratepayers is covered by an aspect of this budget. We have tried to keep rates at a low level. We don't work on CPI, we work on the local government cost index, and as mentioned by yourself, Councillor Peter, infrastructure costs have gone up significantly. These are all costs to local government, and although our population, our residents are struggling, if we are to continue to provide services and infrastructure to our community, we also need to cover our costs. Now, we have done that by keeping the costs as low as possible. I note that other local governments up and down the train line and surrounding us have gone for higher rate increases than us. I think we have done a really good job at keeping our rate increase down this year, as we do attempt to every year. So I think that we have put a lot of work into trying to keep the rates low, whilst also providing a level of service to the community through libraries, roads, footpaths, street lights, etc., which the charges have gone up on our street lighting. Our state government charges have gone up. We are not increasing our rates as much as the state government have. So I think we've done a good job at keeping our rate increase low. So with that, I will hand back to Councillor Busby to wrap up debate.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And look, since we decided we'd go down that rate path, it's important to remind councillors and anyone who takes an interest in council meetings, since we are being recorded, that local government and all government fees are around that 3%, maybe 4% nowadays. That's it. The rest of the 96% that are paid are state and federal. So it's important to know that the local government cost to residents is the lowest and smallest everywhere. We don't increase our fees. Our fees are set by the state government. We don't increase electricity costs, we don't increase food costs, we don't increase vehicle rego costs. All the major costs that have gone up in the lives of our residents are not rates. They are living costs, and they're not controlled by us. One thing, and if we remember we discussed it, I wish I had it written down to get it right, so I know I won't be fully right, but about the 1% or that increase was $36 to $70. Okay, some went up to about $140, $150 for a year, and others might have been a little bit smaller than that. That's our burden on residents from this local government. It's compared to what I'm paying extra just in my electricity costs and my fuel costs. The rates I'm paying, the extra rates I'm paying aren't a burden on me compared to those things. And what I'd also like to say is that all of our rates go back to our residents. You know, when a council collects rates, it goes back to the community the best we can with its roads, its footpaths, its parks, its sporting pavilions, its libraries. So what we collect goes back. You know, when I pay my tax, I actually don't know where half of it goes and where it gets spent. I've got no idea at all, and I'll never find out. So I don't think the rate argument against our budget stands up at all. And to actually discuss rates and then want to spend more money tonight, I get a bit miffed about that, because we're talking about trying to keep costs down and we wanted to throw some more money at things without really discussing what else we could do with it. So, Madam Mayor, I think we've done a very good job as a council. We are very diligent in having our budget workshops, and we do bang heads. If the public sat there and listened, they'd hear that we bang heads. We work hard for our residents and for our wards to do the best we can, to do as much as we can with what we can, and I think we're a really good council at doing that. So, you know, I'm really proud to move this budget, and hopefully we adopt it. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Busby. I will put the 16, adopting the annual budget, to the vote. All those in favour? All those against? Got that? And an absolute majority has been reached. Thank you very much, councillors. We'll move now to 17, with the last item there, which, do we have anything for that last item? No? No? Okay. It has been moved. Do we have anyone opposed? If no one's opposed, thank you, that's carried, and an absolute majority has been reached. And we'll move now to page 76 with 1.2, Councillors' Information Bulletin, issue number 11, 2025. Could I ask that someone move receipt of that, or just acknowledge receipt of that item? Sorry. Thank you very much, Councillor Peter. The recommendation is on the bottom of page 76. Councillor Peter has moved. Is there anyone opposed? If no one's opposed, thank you, that's carried. And we'll move back to the beginning of the agenda. And we go to motions of which previous notice have been given, and there aren't any. Urgent business approved by the person presiding or by decision. There isn't any. Matters for referral to standing committees without discussion. Councillor Camdar.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I've got one for technical services, road cleaning and suburb maintenance, including road sweeping.
Thank you.
Technical services. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further? Councillor Burke? Yep.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. So the matter of an indoor sports centre to the development services. So to advocate the options collaborating with the developers to have a medium-sized kids indoor sports centre in the western suburbs of the city.
Thank you. Are there any further matters for referral to standing committees? If not, we'll move on to matters requiring confidential consideration, which we don't have any. That brings us to closure at 8 28. And thank you, everybody. Budget time's always a bit fraught, where we don't get our own way necessarily. Thank you for the respectful debate, and thank you for being here tonight to shepherd through a budget. Thank you very much.